You mentioned the vaccines, of course. The UK did grant AstraZeneca and Oxford emergency authorization use for their COVID-19 vaccine. Cases, of course, continue to rise around the world, certainly here in the U.S. And as well, Morgan, there is some concern in terms of the distribution of the vaccine. The Moderna and Pfizer vaccines, of course, being distributed here, but not going to come anywhere near what had been the hope of having as many as 20 million people inoculated by the end of December. And at our current rate, we're not going to get anywhere close to where we'd hoped to. So there's certainly got to have to be a significant increase in inoculations fairly soon to start to hit some of the targets that have been out there. Yeah, and certainly this is something President-elect Biden talked about yesterday, stressing, his plans when he comes into office the end of next month to ramp that up and be more aggressive about it and potentially invoke the Defense Production Act more aggressively as well. That being said, it's curious to see where the bottlenecks are happening. I mean, you've had, more than 2 million, at least as of Monday, 2 million Americans inoculated, receiving one of those first doses of one of those two vaccines that have been approved for emergency use here in the U.S., and it's something like another 12 million that have been distributed and that are basically either at the state level or lower than the state level being distributed and awaiting, awaiting being administered, if that's proper English. I'm not so sure if it is. So, yeah, it does seem like there are vaccines that are being created and being delivered, but getting into people's arms seems to be another story right now, at least. I think one of the other key things to keep an eye on, especially from an investor standpoint, is going to be how many, I know we've been talking about this too, David, how many people who are able to get that vaccine right now are going to get that vaccine right now, especially as we do get, and I realize that these are in the minority, but we are getting those reports of adverse reactions, uncomfortable or painful side effects in the day or days after. How many people are going to be willing to do that? And from a Wall Street, from an investor standpoint, whether that's even factoring into some of the models out there that are forecasting a strong return to economic growth and normalcy, if you will, next year upon this idea of herd immunity. Mike, also, in terms of pre-market movers, we do have some of these, and we've got some of those names up on the board right now. Some of those biotech and pharma companies that have been developing vaccines, we're seeing some more movement because we have had some more headlines this morning.
Yeah, you wonder exactly how much more is in that trade. I keep pointing out that the day of Pfizer Monday, when we got those great results from their vaccine candidate, November 9th, we traded up to 36.45 that morning. And even though it seems like the market's been going nothing but up, we're just a few percent above that right now. So it seems like more vaccines, the better. Everyone wants to see the rollout be successful. But you almost wonder if it's the premise of what's been happening in the markets for a while right now, that we are on this march and going to get more choices on the vaccine front, Dave.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.